G'day guys, hope this video finds you well. Just trying this new cinematic mode on the recording here. It looks pretty good. Yes, I've got a pretty good video lined up for today. So I'm basically going to be talking about the intersection of skills and income. And now you might be wondering, what the heck does that mean? And obviously I'm going to explain it, but I guess it's something that is very pertinent to career decisions, study decisions, etc. And it also has a lot to do with immediate gratification and sort of how much of that you're going to seek. So you might as well jump right into it. I literally just started recording this off the bat. It's been really hard to find the time to record these videos, let alone prepare them. So there's effectively no preparation except what the thought processes that go in my head throughout the week, which is fine. It's all you need, really. Probably will prepare some longer ones at some point, but yeah. So skills versus income. I mean, initially they're two things that don't sound contradictory in any way, and they shouldn't be, but as a matter of fact, they often are. So I guess let me give a practical example so you guys can put an idea to this. So I guess you have your normie jobs, or jobs that you clock in 9 to 5, guaranteed salary income. Now, obviously there's jobs that fit that criteria, which also are jobs that require a high level of skill and thought process and growth. So there's no question about that. But if we look at maybe the example of a young guy or a young girl who have maybe just finished high school, they didn't necessarily go to university or study anything, and now they're going into a job, like let's say a first job at McDonald's. Bad example, but let's say they're working in construction or getting some other kind of entry-level job, like doing retail or whatever. And that's fine. Like, you start to save money and you start to pay the bills and stuff. But here's when it becomes a problem. There's two scenarios. I think it becomes a problem when, one, you settle for that, and two, when you're doing that past your 20s, past your 30s, past your 40s. Because they're a very short-term kind of job. And what do I mean by that? Is that you're effectively living paycheck to paycheck. There's very little career progression or growth within the role. Even if you are a manager, let's say at a retail store or at a restaurant or whatever, ultimately you're capped by the level of the organization. And you're only going to be earning like so much money, like even if you're above average, right? So you're capped in terms of income. You're capped in terms of time, because now you basically have to be investing that time that you have for that certain amount of hours to guarantee your income. They're interlinked. And you're not building anything for yourself. You're just working someone else's business. So you've basically ticked off this income mark, but you're not really building up your own skills. Obviously for a bit, there might be like a year where that skill increase is really exponential, but then you've capped out. And that's going to happen at most of these jobs. So you've ticked your income, and I think, the main issue that I have with that is that it's very short-term, because you're not growing your skills. It's just as I said. And I guess what would be the opposite scenario of this? Well, we can have a guy that starts with that kind of job. Like, again, sometimes out of necessity, you've got to pay the bills. You've got to do that. But then my question to you would be, okay, you're working 40 hours a week. What are you doing on either end of the 8-hour workday? What are you doing on the weekend if you're not working weekends, which you should be? Are you actually using that time to put yourself in a position to step out of this job and maybe start a business, or go into a job that's more skills related and where you get paid more so on your performance, as opposed to you warming the seat that could easily be filled by someone else? Are you actively working to put yourself in a position where you can be financially free, where you can now invest in property and stuff like that, where you can start your own business, where you are developing, skill sets that you can use in other industries or other trades or other pursuits that you have in life? Are you doing that, or are you settling for the bare minimum? Because, we've only got so many years here. I mean, speaking about life, and you're going to be renting out your time to the same guy, to the same business, and never actually build anything of your own, or never actually build anything that you're passionate about, like, you've got to think about it. You've got to be hitting two birds with one stone. So hit that income, but also hit that skills development, also hit that careers development. Because why wouldn't you? Because we know you can. We know that with certain businesses and with certain jobs, you have heaps of career growth, you have heaps of skill set growth, you have heaps of opportunities. Like, the stuff is there, just waiting to be taken. And if you're not going to actively go and grow yourself and look for those opportunities, if you're just going to settle for the bare minimum where it pays the bills, but you're not furthering yourself in any way, you're effectively wasting those 8 hours a day. Sure, you're making money, but what else are you doing? Like, if you're not learning any skills, if you're not building yourself up as a person, freaking anyone can flip burgers at Macca's. Like, you need to do something difficult. You need to do something that challenges you, and you need to do something that is actually opening the future up for what you actually want to do. Because no one actually wants to be working these sort of base level jobs their whole lives. Like, if someone says they want to, they're clearly lying. So yeah, that's basically the message of the video. And I guess this is going to look different for different people. I guess for me to give a practical example for my own life. So I finished school and I started uni in 2020, and that was the first year of COVID. And so I started working full-time on the farm here. And after a while, I continued studying online that year. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll go back when I finish or whatever. But then I started working, started getting those regular paychecks in, which were good. And I was like, well, this is fine how it is. Like, do I actually need to do anything else? Like, not really. And I actually decided not even to continue my degree and not go back to uni. And that was my frame of mind for at least a year and a half. And that being said, I had heaps of growth within that 1 to 2 year period. I started going to the gym, started taking my faith more seriously. Like, heaps of stuff happened there that probably wouldn't have happened had I been at uni. So, God's providence is another layer to this. But after a certain point, working like probably close to 3 years full time, I was like, well, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And yeah, I had income. I was ticking all the basic needs box. And if it was the case that I had to do it for the rest of my life, like, I'd be happy with that. It's not like I'd be dissatisfied. But I was like, well, no, I probably do need to grow myself and explore and grow my talents more. Who knows? In 5 years, I might end up back on the farm, and that's it. And it's a done deal and no stress at all. But am I actually sort of doing my due diligence with my life and my talents and the opportunities that I have available to me if I'm just staying here? And I realized that the answer to that question was no. So that was when I did two things. Obviously, the thought pattern wasn't as clear as this, but in hindsight, so I invested into the Closer Cartel sales training course, and I started to learn how to do high ticket sales as a different career, a different source of income, a source of income that I could perhaps have while I was studying in Sydney. And I went to study in Sydney. So I resumed my studies and basically explored this new career opportunity, which now I'm doing full time, while starting to ramp up into full time as I go into this year. And that's been great. I've learned heaps of stuff that I wouldn't have otherwise. And I also realized, I guess, and partly it's due to these videos as well, and Fit for the Kingdom, that I do have a lot of skills and, I guess, talent, assets that could really be well used in areas and things that are not just milking cows, right? And that seems like a pretty obvious thought, but I guess we don't realize it when we're stuck in that day to day, or when we're earning those regular paychecks. It's like there's very little pain there, so we don't really feel the need to change. But then when you add in all of these other thoughts and you add in that larger vision, you open up your time frame, completely changes the way you think about what you're doing day to day. So skills and income. So I basically changed completely in 2023, studied all of 2024. And now it's not quite full-time study, but I'm continuing my degree online in philosophy and history. and working as well in sales. And yeah, and I guess there's opportunities that have been opened up by those two things which wouldn't have been otherwise. And I probably won't be doing sales in 5 years. Like, I'd hope to be sort of running my own business or my own offer, or doing something maybe more related to the work of the church, etc. But like at this stage, I feel that I'm in like a really good point/balance of meeting the basic needs, but also doing everything I can to grow myself and put myself in a better position for 5 years down the track. So yeah, that's pretty much the video. Like, don't settle for what you currently have, guys. Like, it doesn't mean to be impatient or to be dissatisfied, but to also be hungry and be working for the future. Because if you don't do it now, it's never going to happen. And if you don't do it now, you're also going to be looking back to this moment 30 years down the track, and you're going to be like, man, what the heck did I do with all of that time? I threw away so many Friday nights, so many Saturdays, so many Sundays. Like, I threw away all of that time before work, that time after work. I was lazy, I was undisciplined, I didn't take advantage of the opportunities at my fingertips. And guys, it's never been easier to get like degrees. We kind of dump on them nowadays, but you can get these online with hardly any work. Like, if that's going to open 5 different career opportunities in the future, and you're not doing anything before or after work, just freaking do it. Like, plus, it's not even about the education that you get. You're training yourself in discipline. You're training yourself in study. You're putting yourself on a more demanding time schedule, that even if you don't feel like you have time, being on that academic schedule forces you to just get stuff done. So yeah, just blink and get after it, guys. All right, hopefully this was a good video. Please comment, like, subscribe, share it around. The algorithm's been pumping my videos hard. The last one about dressing well got like 400 views, so probably have to do some work on the thumbnails and titles and stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll catch up soon. God bless.